the next session planned, and it is basically a session on agile management. And this session is going to help us redefine how projects are planned, executed, and serviced to deliver more value more rapidly. And the speaker is our very own Subramaniyan Venkataraman. And let me speak a few words to give you an introduction about the speaker. Subramaniyan Venkataraman, popularly known to his friends and colleagues as Subbu, is Vice President Software Engineering at CA Technologies. He heads the global engineering team for service management portfolio of products of CA Technologies. This is part of the Agile Management BU. Subbu has over 27 years of experience in the IT industry in both India and the US, including several leadership roles across companies like CA Technologies, Sierra Atlantic, and Wipro Technologies. So let's join our hands together to welcome Subbu.
Am I audible? So, thanks Ashok and Shimail for inviting me and sharing some of your challenges. Listening to the challenges of SureBank kind of takes me down the memory lane about a few years back. So, as Sharvista was saying, I had engineering for service management, so I have a portfolio of about 4 or 5 products with me. So 4 or 5 years back, we also felt Agile is a buzzword, so why don't we also start Agile? Because one of the challenges that time we had was, we used to make, believe me or not, 12 months to 15 months release. So every project used to be like a 12 to 15 month project with a team which is geographically distributed across US and India. So you can imagine how it will be that around the 12th month or the 14th month, my product management colleagues would come back and say that the market has changed, so something else will come in, and so we'll fight them saying this is a change request, I'll go through change management, etc., etc. Then we said, okay, Agile is a buzzword, so let's start Agile. So we started off. So initially, all the rituals of Agile, right? Your daily stand-ups and then the sprint planning and calling everyone as a scrum team. So we did all of that. But over a couple of years, we realized that we had slowly moved beyond the daily rituals or the daily rigors of Agile. We were starting to get some small benefits, which were more at a team level Agile. So teams were maybe sprinting along, they were taking in smaller iterations, they were doing. But when I started looking at it across teams, just as what Ashok was saying, getting teams, sorry about that, am I better audible now? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Krishna. So we realized, I'll give an example. So from 12 months to 15 months, we came down to like 8 months kind of a release. But still, after a few Scrum teams have done some of the development work, then we will be coming up and saying, oh my God, what about performance testing? We have not yet done that. Oh my God, what about localization? Because some of our products are like spread across. We release like 8, 9 languages across the globe that we support. In some of my products, about 11, 12 languages. So this becomes like an afterthought. So in essence, we realized that we were doing waterfall in smaller iterations. So from a waterfall, we thought we had moved on, and then we came to this. That was one part of the problem. The second part of the problem was, okay, how do I get some level of flexibility, some level of agility at my portfolio level? Supposing I want to say that my product management or my sales team comes and says that, okay, we want to focus more on asset management. This happened actually 2 years back, and we want to focus more on asset management and we want to do lesser work on something else. Then how do I switch? How do I ensure that the right set of people are put onto the right projects and the right release trains and then run this? I'll fast forward to the beginning of this calendar year. Within CA Technologies, there was a company level strategic theme which was around improve customer experience. As you know, CA gives wonderful products, but then in some of our products, our customer experience can be further improved, right? So given that, so we had a very good initiative, which is a strategic initiative, it's called Improve Customer Experience. So that's like the boss at the top had mandated saying that improve customer experience, and that's going to be the theme for the whole year. Fantastic. Now from there, it comes down to the individual business units. The business units say that, okay, we will run a few initiatives to support this theme. So the theme is improve customer experience. Then there may be a few initiatives. So in my BU, which is called as the Agile Management BU, so we're supposed to be fairly agile. There are a few initiatives that are planned by my general manager and my top management team. So now I take those initiatives and translate them, I try to translate them into my portfolio of products. So my portfolio of products may be running a few what we call as agile release trains. So these are like different release trains that are running, and I'll have to take this particular initiative and see how it fits in for each of these release trains. I need to have that visibility, the ability to plan, the ability to track all of this activity on an ongoing basis. Right? So I need that kind of a visibility to have that. And from there, taking the initiative, each of the products may then say that, okay, this means for improving customer experience in this product, I need to have these 4 features added. So there will be some features that we come in. And from the features, then the individual Scrum teams will pick up and say, this is the user story. Maybe I will change the color scheme, or maybe I'll change the entire layout for my product, or something like that. So those could be the user stories that could be happening. So if I take a look at it, right from the theme that the top boss had mandated to the individual engineer working in a Scrum team in terms of the user story, there is actually a complete thread that goes through. And that thread needs to be visible at the level of visibility that is required for different levels of management. Right? That is really the portfolio or business level agility that we can get to. So I was, just before the meeting, I was talking to a friend who's from ICICI Bank, and he said that he has a team of 400 plus developers. So I'm sure each one of you would be having something like this, where you have large teams geographically distributed as Superbank seems to be having, and you will want to run this. I will take the same challenge and kind of extend it to the Superbank a little before I get into this. What if Superbank, one of the things that Superbank seems to be wanting to do right now is to, SureBank, okay, I've made you super guys, okay. So this bank is really trying to compete with an emerging area of payment banking and payment solutions in India, okay. So what if the bank decides that they want to run a theme which is succeed and be the leader in the payment solutions? That means not just developing an app, but take the other products that the bank has and have that link with this, so that customers who are availing of other products and services from this bank are also able to take care of or take the benefit of the payment solution that they are going to develop in the next few months and release to the market. So if you look at it, there could be themes, initiatives, features, and from there to the stories. And how do you get the connectivity into all of them? So having given that little bit of background, let me just see, let's look at what agility itself is. So what do we all understand by agile? It's such a big buzzword. So simply said, it is sense the situation outside and be able to respond. Sense and respond with efficiency, respond fast. I think Jignesh called it like fail fast. I would say respond fast. So that's all is really agility for us. And that agility, it's a mindset transformation. I'm happy that SureBank guys, Ashok already said that it's more a process and people practices change, not just doing some day-to-day activities. So that kind of a change is what, if any of you are already embarked on or you're looking at embarking on, my experience based on that, I will share with you that it's not so much as just the tools or not just so much as the daily rituals, as much as really looking at from a process point of view, from a practices point of view, and even from a mindset point of view. Really, how do you become agile? And this is something that what we have been doing in our business unit. And in CA, we call it like be what we sell. We just don't want to preach to our customers. We want to be what we are selling and share that experience with others so that it can be of benefit for our customers. So if you look at it, really team level agility gives you some amount of thing, but if you kind of mature from there, you really get to a portfolio level agility, and from portfolio, if you can really get to business agility. When we talk of business agility, it transcends beyond IT. How can your marketing be agile? How can your sales be agile? How can your supply chain logistics teams be agile? So if you can get everyone to be agile, then in this 21st century where we have so much of disruption happening, you will have the entire business being able to be agile. So we will focus on IT because we all are more in that space. Marketing and sales, let them bother about their agility, but we'll focus on what we are looking at. So I think this is a set of, it's a busy slide, but I think these are the challenges pretty much all of you at the C level or next to the C level you might be looking at. How do I know how development resources are deployed? What is the value that they are really delivering? And how do you know what specific initiatives, what features, capabilities are being developed? And like that, all of this. And you want all this information at the tip of your finger so that you can be agile, you can be able to change the direction of this agile release train, at least on a quarterly basis. If not on a monthly, you don't want to do that to disrupt, but at least on a quarterly basis. So for that, we are introducing to all of you CA Agile Central. It's the world leader in agile management, what it is all about. So if you really look at it, it is purpose-built set of tools and processes which are aligned with the Scaled Agile framework. I think you have heard about SAFE, right? Scaled Agile framework. So SAFE 4.0 is something that is completely, in fact, Rally, our erstwhile product that we acquired, so our Agile Central, we helped develop and evolve SAFE. So we have worked very closely with SAFE. And so that's the level of thought leadership that is kind of coming through the Agile Central. And so essentially where it helps you here is from a capacity planning point of view, from a release planning point of view, ability to track a particular release train, how it is working, and being able to report and things like that. This is a SaaS solution, multi-tenant SaaS. If someone wants an on-prem, they could also have it. So that's all on the Agile Central. Agile teams, when you talk of cross-team collaboration, there is also another thing that comes up in terms of how you can make collaboration in the context of a particular activity. Supposing a Scrum team is working on, I think they talked about one Scrum team focusing on security, one Scrum team focusing on the server side, and one Scrum team developing the app activity. Supposing I'm an engineer, I'm developing on the app, front-end app. If I want to have some kind of questions that I want to answer or ask on the server side team, I should have an in-context collaboration tool so that I can collaborate with them. Okay, I may go and do an IM Skype chat, or I may do something else. Today's world, maybe all of our engineers do WhatsApp, which is kind of outside of the entire system. But if we have something of that sort, then how nice it will be that whole of it is within the overall context of what we are doing. So that's what we call as flow down. That provides you within a story, within a feature, you can actually have collaboration and have that connectivity. So it's almost like your product, your system talks to you, and you are able to stay connected with it. So that's essentially what FlowDoc provides for you. So what are the benefits that you really get from Agile Central? So as we talked about, first is alignment to strategy. What's the strategy and how is that getting translated into the different release trains, into the different Scrum teams? How is that alignment working? How are you working on the right things? So going back to that fail fast, if something is not working, it's not the right thing, can you quickly switch and get to the what matters most, what is the right thing to be done? So you'll be able to get that part of it. And you have roll-ups at team level, at the work level, at the organization level. And we talked about bi-directional integration or collaboration with FlowDoc, that is available. And another area I'll talk a little about down the line is insights. So how do you know that your teams have transformed into an agile manner, one, and secondly, they are really performing at their best efficiency. So agile and scaled agile, if you really look at it, is a lean process. So how do you reduce waste? How do you improve your efficiency? How do you improve your team level velocity? So you will want to continuously improve upon it. It's not an overnight thing, so it will take time. So as you are doing, if you want to benchmark yourselves against how your industry is doing, how others are doing, are there things that I can learn from outside and bring that back into my organization? You can benchmark yourselves with the industry through insights, where you will have hundreds of thousands of other practitioners' information taken out. I mean, you take out all the personally identified part of it, but essentially aggregated, available for you to benchmark yourselves at a metric level where you are. And the metrics you can choose as to what you want to get an insight into. So broadly, that's where I wanted to bring in from and talk about from Agile Center. I'll just share a little bit from a screenshot point of view. I don't know how clear this is, but effectively, from a strategy and execution, how we can tie them together at a portfolio level. So if you see, there are a few themes which get broken down to initiatives and they come down to features. So the F1s are the features, the I's are initiatives, T's are themes, and from there they get broken down to a story level, and you can see the status of where each one of them. So something is at a defined level, something is at an work in progress level, something is completed, something is accepted or whatever. So you have all those statuses. So you can get down to whatever level that you want to and get the overall visibility. And you see some percentage completion kind of progress that you can get. And you also get a red, green, yellow kind of thing saying that are we on track, are we off track, etc. So the other thing, and this is a cool feature I like very much and my teams like very much with our Agile Central, is being able to quickly, within a release level, you have multiple features. In fact, just this week we have done for our next big room planning, which is going to happen next week, and we have some of our colleagues from Agile Central team available here. There's one person, Bill, who's sitting right there. So we have been doing a lot of this feature prioritization. So everything is like, this is also important, this is also important, but you have only so much capacity. So how do you, relative importance, how do you fix so that you are doing the right thing from your overall strategy point of view? So having the ability to prioritize all the different features. So drag and drop in terms of the priority change. So you're sitting in a room, a bunch of people, you're discussing and deciding on the priority, you can actually reflect that straight away in the tool. And these are the different Scrum teams in this release train. Then you can actually assign this to the corresponding Scrum teams based on skills, based on capacity. And if you see, you have the capacity here in terms of how many points of capacity is available. So you can see whether you have loaded up a team. So the first team, if you look at it, is only 59% loaded. So you still have some capacity there. So if something from below you want to bubble up or you want to pick it up and give it, you can do that. So essentially, you are able to plan and match supply to demand in a very smooth, frictionless manner. And this is something which you are able to do at multiple levels. Then at a team level, they can do the same thing, saying features, they can break it down into stories and be able to handle that part of it at the team planning level. Then from there, all this is fine, planned, let's say their SureBank, right? SureBank, their payment product is under development, well under development. Now they want to see whether they are as per plan, where they are going, etc., being able to track it. So they can track it really at multiple kind of views of the same, saying that, okay, which team is behind, which team is ahead, and against a particular calendar area, they can look at and say, okay, I'm here, this particular team is not yet there, what are the challenges, what we need to do, etc. So this is the flow part of it. So what I talked about from a flow point of view, where a team has a question saying that, okay, what do I need to do, or which API do I need to use for this particular feature? Just say that is a question that comes from this team. Then they could do that conversation as such within the flow of that particular story or context. So there is the user story here, which is the user story, and in that context someone is asking questions, someone else has responded, and all of that information is available. So it becomes like the system comes back and tells you the story of how that particular release train is working and how it has progressed. What better insight than that for you folks across your teams, if you can get that level of insight. Talking about insights, we'll take that insight one level further. Supposing you are looking at, okay, how is my productivity, my team's productivity, my team's predictability, or quality? I think they talked about quality, sorry. So how does this, my team, benchmark against? So if you look at it, perhaps my team is only here and I still have a distance to go in terms of quality. So I get that particular thing. Then I can perhaps delve deeper into that and say what corrective actions I want to take. Maybe something in planning, maybe something in terms of staffing the right skills, maybe something in terms of training and skilling up of my teams. It could be any one of those. So I'll be able to address all of that with the insights that I get and this is across 13,000 active teams across the globe. So you get a condensed information available for you across the dimensions that are of interest for you to be able to look at and benchmark yourselves. Having said that, I said we drink our own Kool-Aid, right? I don't preach only to outside, but we also follow. So I just took a snapshot of what we have for our agile management view. This is what my management team looks at in terms of where we are on the different teams and initiatives. So as you see, there is something red. So it's not that we are all green all around. We are red in some places, we are yellow in some places, but we get a complete top to down view in one place. So this is all good in one sense, but if I take humorously on one side, so my general manager has all the information at her fingertips, so she can call me up anytime and say what's going on at a particular place, which is fine. But that is the level of visibility, information available at the fingertips, and be able to help agile teams be agile and stay agile. That's what Agile Central and FlowDoc gives to our customers and for us also. So, having said that, I'll come back to what Ashok and Shamail from SureBank were looking at, the CIO and head of projects, right? So, first thing is in terms of how they can address their challenges. So they need to plan frequently, because they talked about requirements changing very frequently, right? So they need to plan frequently. They need to be able to ship in small increments this payment-related services outside, test with the market, are they in line with competition, are they ahead of competition, and be able to respond confidently to those requirement changes that they were talking about. Second thing is having that real-time visibility. So Shamail as the CIO, if he can have the real-time visibility into what is happening, and right now they have a 4 Scrum team, but I'm sure very soon they'll be having multiple Scrum teams all adopting Agile, in real terms Agile, not the Agile that Shamail was referring to, and then having the real-time visibility will be very important. And then they should be able to focus their teams then on what matters most and really track towards that. I kind of stopped my monologue. Any questions? I'm open to take them.
Is there a resource level? You showed the dashboard. Is there any resource level we can go and track?
Yes, you can look at a resource level. I don't have the screenshot here, but for a resource you can see like which stories they are working on, where they are, etc. So each resource, I mean, we actually hate calling them as resources. Each engineer can see where she or he is at and what's the next thing that we need to do. I think that's the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Can you repeat the question?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, so
Basically, I would say like this: we used to handle project management to monitor a project, right? If you go deeper into the project management, then you can go up to the resource level also, right? So, how to actually differ agile management with the project management?
fantastic question. Thank you, sir, for asking that. In fact, that was one of the questions that we used to ask internally also. I'll answer to the level that I can, and then I'll forward it to Bill, who can possibly add more. So, whatever I talked, if you look at it, a lot of it would have seemed like project management. We already have an offering CAPPM, which is portfolio level and project level management. So agility really is a mindset change, as we said. See, in the past, we used to have projects where teams are coming together for a particular objective of a project, and the teams are formed together. Then they go through the forming, norming, transforming, all of that challenges. By the time half the project planned, the project time is over, and then the teams actually perform. And at some stage, the project is completed, fail or success, whatever it is, and then the teams are disbanded and another project is taken, and then they go into that. So with agility, the biggest change I have understood with my experience is we are going off from that into what are called as continuous release trains. So you have trains of teams which are continuously delivering, or a value stream which is delivering value or which is primed to deliver value on a continuous basis. Now that continuous basis, the period could be a quarter, it could be a month, it could be a day for someone else, but essentially how you can have durable scrum teams, and how those durable scrum teams have a mix of skills within them, and how you can, it's almost like a factory, like an assembly line, multiple assembly lines, and work is fed in from one side and the output is coming out on the other side in a very predictable manner. So the project management and the project way of execution has some level of predictability, not more, and it requires a lot of maturity, and it has its own set of challenges. With agility, really what is happening is you are moving away from that late 20th century concept of project management to more of continuous value delivery on an ongoing basis, with the ability to sense and respond if there is a change. So in the past, if there was a project, 6 months project, then most of us, we all run our 6 months project and not bothered to see if the ground under our feet has actually shifted till the project is completed. Whereas here, you get the opportunity to change, and that change you can do at a quarterly level or at a monthly level, and because your scrum teams are all there, they are primed to deliver continuous value, and so what you give as the demand, if that changes, the team adjusts very fast and is able to deliver. So that's to the extent that I can say philosophically.
So in summary, what I have understood, so that the dynamics, right, in the project execution or delivery, that is what is actually you are addressing to agility. The dynamics in everything. I mean,
Correct. Dynamics not at the project level, but at a higher level.
Dynamics in every level.
Yes. Will, you want to add something to this?
Okay. Thank you.
So I think what Suba said was absolutely correct, right? At a philosophical level, we're changing the paradigm of tracking projects and hours against projects as sort of the container or the measurement that we're doing. And we're looking more at the value we're delivering in the feature, and we're using teams to tell us how much value we can deliver rather than an individual, right? From a PMO perspective, if you're looking at, I'm coming in as a project manager and I have a different perspective. Rally's actually built as a program level tool. So it's built for that middle layer. It's actually built for project management. Shown today like milestones. So if you have a particular group of work that you want to be done by a particular date, you just associate the features that you're running in your normal Agile release train manner, and then you can track progress against those milestones, just like you kind of would with any project management. But you're still working more in a build on a cadence, deliver on demand model. So you're working within a time box, and you're looking at the velocity of a team and how much they can supply in terms of work they're getting done.
Thanks, Bill.
It's very exciting, new, dynamic. Okay, my question is, do you really think that it can play a significant role in a government organization where we are still struggling to go with the paperless work? I mean, we are in the phase to moving in, you can say, a late 20th century. But do you think it can play and it can really value to it? Or if yes, then please convince me or give me an answer.
Yeah, very, very tough question, ma'am, but thank you for asking that. By the way, we also end up doing a lot of paper, using a lot of paper. Several printers are there every floor in this building, and we also use a lot of paper. Having said that, I get what you're saying. So you're really, there is a gap, there is a lag from a government point of view. So I'll attempt an answer. It's as we said, agility is really a mindset change, so which involves people, it involves practices, it involves culture. So definitely, if we cannot simply say that, oh, this will fit in government straight away, or you just start off from tomorrow and you will be agile. I think that will be very facile for me to say, and that's not right. Having said that, only one thing I would possibly, rather two things I will take. One is our dynamic PM is like, he is trying to really help us to leapfrog and from wherever we are to wherever we want to be. Maybe we you can leverage that. But more importantly, I think India has leapfrogged in one space. If you look at it, in the telecom space, we have actually leapfrogged one particular generation, right? From most of us did not have landline phones, but we straight away leapfrogged into the cell phone, and in fact the smartphone kind of a generation that we have been able to leapfrog. Taking that as an example, I can possibly say that maybe we can take that as an example, and in government also, even if let's say several government departments are in that late 20th century or 2001, 2002 kind of a time frame, and that's where the maturity levels are. We perhaps need to challenge ourselves saying that do we need to go through the whole journey that all other companies have gone through, the private sector has gone through, or can we really leapfrog? So for all you know, the unlearning that we had to do and my teams had to do, maybe you don't need to go through that unlearning. That will be the biggest benefit if you try to leapfrog. Having said that, you have to go through that journey yourselves. You will arrive at what is the right mean level for the government. It may not be, it may be different from what is there for a different company. Maybe, I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's about all that I can say.
All right. Okay. I had one question. So one of the points that you talked about was about capacity planning, right? Is there a way to measure productivity per engineer and then eventually segue that into like the HR performance management where I can have the annual appraisal cycles and all that stuff come in?
Okay, if you, yes, in short, yes, the tool supports that to be done, but I would, again, having gone through, I have 100 strong teams distributed across the globe, and previously I used to have like 400, 500 strong team when I was running services. The one challenge is if you take an engineer level productivity and try to link it to HR, it tries to then drive lots of behavior, which as a company you would not want to drive behavior. So I'm wearing a little bit of HR hat and saying this, but yes, tool supports it, but how you want to do that to ensure that there is still an element of motivation, an element of empowerment and accountability at the engineer level continues to stay. How you do that? At the same time, you want to also monitor velocity, productivity and reward for performance. You will have to figure out. Part of it the tool will provide, a lot of it actually has to be outside of the tool in terms of your policies, procedures, how you want to do that. But yes. Okay.
Are we done?
Yeah. So thanks Shemail and Ashok for inviting me, and I hope you wish you well in your agile journey. Thanks guys.